Sorry about the coke nose, man. I was hanging out with Trump last night.
No shit, man.
Oh, yeah. And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jcast experience. I am Jay Wade. After about a 3 or 4 week break, we're back hanging out in Drew's garage. What's up, Drew?
What's going on, guys?
Yep. Kind of dumbfounded after this last week. I've been trying to stay away from the politics, man, because you know how I get really crazy and nutty and vulgar, and I just get very upset, dude.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been trying to stay away from the politics, man, but it's over. So, I might as well just go ahead and talk about it a little bit, and there isn't much time left. But I mean, it's over after this last week, dude. Trump pretty much sealed his own fate. I mean,
So my question would be then, you don't think they're gonna bring out something even dirtier on old Hillary there?
dude, at this point, I don't think it really matters, to be honest, because everyone wants to go on about how Trump made the remarks of, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue or in Times Square or whatever, and I wouldn't lose one single vote. First of all, we all know that's absurd and not true. But you know what? I honestly do believe that is true about Hillary. I don't think that there is one single thing that could come out about her, not one thing, that would make her supporters, and I mean her supporters, not people who don't like either, but they're not going to vote for Trump, so they're voting for Hillary. Not them. Her true supporters, dude. There's nothing that woman could do that could cause her to lose votes.
Well, I'd say by now, you're right. After all that she's already done, if they're gonna follow her now, then that's how it is. And then you're right on the Trump thing. I mean, my goodness, and I've said that since the beginning. I mean, he wants obvious, drastic changes and stuff like that, but his diplomacy is just terrible, complete terrible. And I've said that since the beginning, and here we are. It's getting worse as we go on.
Yeah.
And I just can't see him negotiating with other countries or anything like that.
The disasters, dude.
And saying things like he's saying, like it's really a mockery of what it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I mean, even though they talked about the issues in the town hall meeting or town hall debate, it's like they barely hit him at all.
Oh, yeah.
And then just slung mud at the other person, and you really got nothing out. Even what they said, you forgot all about it.
Well, at this point, all Hillary has to do is just say Trump's a piece of garbage, and this is why.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to really talk about any of the issues whatsoever at this point.
No.
And see, from the beginning, I always said, well, I'll admit, I was one of the ones that said, dude, Trump ain't going to go nowhere. Stop worrying about it. And then he ended up winning the primary, and I was like, okay, I was wrong. But as far as his conduct, what he says, all this stuff, first and foremost, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked by anything. And I've always said from the beginning, though, that he's a prick, but I will defend his right to be a prick.
Well, sure.
Now, a lot of what they say about him and whatnot is just not true. It's twisting his words. He has said some fucked up. I'm sorry. We were talking about it earlier. I said, Drew, I'm going to try not to cuss, man, but I go grrr about politics.
Oh, yeah.
But he is just, I don't know. I've always defended his right to be a prick, dude, but it doesn't mean that I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Grab him by the pussy. That's all I hear in my head while I'm sitting here talking. Let's just get to it, dude. I'm sorry, but what? Are you serious, dude?
I know. And I can actually kind of see what he means about locker room talk, but I think that's a little bit too far. Like if you're going to like, locker room talk doesn't consist of practical rape things.
Yes.
Like that's a weird locker room. I've been in a lot of locker rooms myself. And,
right.
No, I never talked about stuff like that.
Yeah, like when he's saying how, I tried to do her, she was married, I tried like a bitch and got turned down, I'll admit it, all that Yes, that is well
Yeah.
within the realms of normal locker room
You
talk.
betcha.
And
You
that doesn't
betcha.
even mean that all men talk like that. But
No,
as far as the
no. I know
term
people
locker
talking
room
like
talk.
that. Yeah, I mean,
But I
sure.
never want, and you've been in more locker rooms than me, but I never once have heard, even not in a locker room, I've never heard some dude just sit around and talk about, like, yeah, I don't care if they're down or not. I just, grab them by the poon and just, I just start kissing them and give me a tic tac. Ah,
Yeah.
not even in a
Who
locker room,
who wants
dude.
to be known as that guy?
I,
You know what I mean? Like when you leave and the other guy's like, "Whoa," you
well, in this
know?
case, Billy Bush
Yeah,
wasn't really
exactly.
going well. He was and we're not going to focus on him. He was
No,
laughing and he went along with it. And they're like, well, he was maybe in an awkward situation or
well,
something
yeah,
like that. I can
he's hanging
understand
out with
that,
a billionaire.
but
I mean, you know,
he still
yeah,
was a little bit shady with his crap. But screw him. Who cares? Until
yeah.
this, I didn't even know who Billy Bush was. I
You
thought
know
he
what?
was
Me
like
neither.
dude, when they were talking about this and they're like Billy Bush, I honestly was like, so is that Jed's nephew? Is it Jed or Jed?
That's what I thought
See,
too. I thought
Bush. Who cares? I don't
because
even
you're
know the
talking
dude's name.
politics,
Jeb or
and then
Jed?
Jeb.
Is it Jeb or
I
Jed?
think it's Jeb.
See, who cares?
I don't know.
But yeah, I thought it was a Bush kid, like a nephew or something, and then so whatever about him. But yeah, I mean, like what he actually said was talking about it was
Yeah,
sexual assault, dude. And
yeah.
I'm not one of these other a-hole conservative Republican politicians who've all been making these commercials going, now I got 5 daughters, and if that was my sister, I've got a mother and all that stuff. I'm I I don't have kids,
Yeah.
and I don't have a girlfriend or a wife or anything, and that shit kind of pisses me off.
Well, here's how I looked at that. If they went along with it and started kissing him and stuff like that, well, then it was totally, maybe he was just feeling it in the moment type thing. I don't know. It's extremely forward, and I'm not saying I would ever pull something like that because that's crazy. But I don't. I also don't live in high society, and I don't know how things work. But
Well, wait a minute.
but
So, are you saying that high society? I mean, of course, we all
well,
knew
say you've been talking to
they
the
have
girl all
different
night
rules than
long.
us, but are you
Say
saying that
say he
they?
was talking to her all night, and he just made that move eventually, and she was down with it.
I
You
mean,
know,
yeah, yeah.
I'm just
There
saying.
you get the consent
Okay,
part, but then when
yeah,
you say that, my question is, well, if he's just doing, or not just him, but someone
yeah.
is just doing that, and
Oh, I
you
think
don't
it's
ask for that consent, and you don't get the consent until after you've done it, or you get the consent or you don't,
yeah,
it isn't that then sexual assault until you get consent?
technically, but
I don't know. I
I
was
know
always that nerdy
I
kid,
don't
dude.
know
I
either.
never
Yeah,
I could never tell a chick I had a crush on her, let alone,
yeah.
try to
There's no
kiss
way.
her. Why I would never just go up and start grabbing on a chick, dude.
Yeah, but also they should have filed, press charges as well. That would have
That
made it a
is
lot more
true.
legitimate, and then he'd really be a scumbag, and he probably wouldn't even be running for president now.
Yeah.
Like and and that's because my thing is politics, okay, and they're gonna bring up any tiny portion of the whole story that they can to make somebody look like trash. So
Absolutely.
so I'm gonna try to look at it in different ways. I'm not going to try to look at it in just the way it's presented to me. I'm going to look at it like I said, maybe he's at a party. He spent 3-4 hours talking to this woman, and she was grabbing his butt and whatnot. He hasn't mentioned anything about that. We don't know about that. There's girls, my wife, when we first started dating, for instance, that's how that went down. I mean, I have my friends, for instance, just come up when you're drinking and stuff, grab your ass and give you a wink, like, "Hey, what's going on?" You turn around like, "Whoa, what?" And then it's like,
Grab
"Oh,
ass
it's you."
between male friends does happen from time
Yeah,
to time, and
and
it's
they,
not
and that's a type of
it's
playful
not in
banner.
assault kind of a way.
Do I know that the girl didn't want it? No. Do I know that she did want it? No. Do I know anything about the situation? No.
No.
So So yeah, that's the point. Until one of those girls comes up and says, this is what happened, and Trump's like, yeah, that's what happened.
But what he actually said, we can both agree
Yeah.
is
Oh, it's terrible.
yeah, just yeah.
It's terrible, and there's just no way. I don't even understand how. Like that just sounds like the beginning of a porn movie or something. Like
To
that's
be
just
honest, it sounds like a guy who barely gets any bragging.
It does.
To be
It's like
honest,
like on 40-Year-Old Virgin where they're like, oh yeah, it feels like a bag of sand, a bag of sand, and they're like, what? That's kind of what it sounds like because I'm sitting here like, what?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, all right, like he said all kinds of stuff from the very beginning, and let's start at his announcement that he was running, and he was talking about illegal immigrants that are in this country. He had already established that before he made the rapist and criminals comment.
Sure.
He established he was talking about illegal immigrants, not all Mexicans.
Yeah, exactly.
And that just pees me off to high hell that because of that he's racist and he doesn't like Mexicans.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is what I got from him in the beginning is that he wanted them to come in just like say my great grandparents did. They go to Ellis Island, they go through the process, they become citizens, they work their butts off. You get the American dream. There's not really any handouts. You gotta work your ass off.
Yep.
But there's people skipping that process, and then now they can legally do so, which is insane. But all he's saying is everyone should have the same exact opportunity. That's what he was trying to say in the beginning, and to come in illegally is like skipping through, and you're not paying taxes, and you're not, you know what I mean.
Well,
you're not contributing to this country,
dude. Even
really,
like the illegal aliens, and I don't care about being politically correct, dude. I think we've all established that. Anyone who knows me, but everyone out there, I'm not a PC kind of guy. But the illegal immigrants, aliens, whatever, dude. One point is as soon as they come into this country illegally, they are automatically criminals.
Yeah.
And even the ones who have been paying taxes and contributing to society, that is awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I can respect that to a certain point, even though you broke the laws to get here and you are technically a criminal and you're illegal.
Sure.
I appreciate your efforts. But you's got to go back home, get in the back of the frickin' line, and let the people that you screwed who were trying to do it right get their opportunity here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what maybe there needs to be a better process. I don't know. I don't understand why they don't just do that. Like get in line and literally do the process. Like
hardships
unless you're a criminal, in Mexico and you got a rap sheet there, I can see why they're trying to get in illegally. I'd rather not have them here.
Cartels and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But why not just do that? Wouldn't it be way easier on you?
Yeah.
Well,
there are hardships, dude. You know that.
Well, sure there are.
I'm hungry. Well, everybody in front of you is hungry too.
Yeah. You just don't have to live with the fear
the
whole time. That'd be terrible to have to live with that,
It would.
It's like lying constantly every day to the people that you love, and then you're like, oh, you're just so torn up every day, and you don't know how to end the process or something like that. But you're scared to death because you don't know what's going to happen to you if you get caught.
It's also like being a criminal on the run.
Yeah.
Key word there, criminal.
Well, that's what it is.
Exactly. But and that's what he was saying though when he said about the specifically criminals and rapists, when he said they're sending, he didn't mean the ones who are coming here legally. He's saying of the ones who are coming here illegally, they aren't the best, biggest, and brightest. The ones who care the most about contributing to our country, the ones who care the most about our ideals, they're the ones who are running from something A
Yep.
lot of them, and not all of them, but a lot of them, and that's what he was saying.
Yep.
The ones who are coming here illegal are not the biggest and brightest. They're the ones that are sketchy, which
Yep.
is true.
And that makes just coming over illegally when there is a process to come in legally makes you feel like they're criminals and they're escaping Mexico because they're criminals as well,
Yeah,
or wherever they're coming from. It doesn't have to just be Mexico, but it's a there needs to be a better process, obviously, for screening and background checking and all that stuff that needs to be done. It's just we can't just let everybody in here, and especially when America is hated by so many countries around the world.
and it's because
You
we're
know,
a-holes.
well, sure,
I mean, we all know why people don't like us, because we're dicks.
yeah, I'd say a good portion.
Yeah. And let this kind of segue into the Muslims comment about banning Muslims entering this country. And that's what it's all about, what he actually says, because the liberals got to twist everything. And this is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
He said a ban on all, he actually said a temporary ban, which means not all the time, not forever,
Yeah,
ban on Muslims entering the country. He never said anything about rounding up Muslim Americans or anyone who's already here and deporting them. And his reasoning for that is not because all Muslims are terrorists, but it's safe to say that the vast majority of terrorists are Muslims. And when you've got Syrian refugees who are just running for their lives, and I feel for them, dude, I really do.
oh yeah,
But when you've got them running for their lives, and then us trying to be compassionate and open our arms, there are gonna be some really really serious individuals, some terrorists slipping through. And I personally, until it's dealt with, I would rather not take the chance. We've got our own freaking people here suffering, dude. We got our own problems to worry about.
oh well, we have starving children on the street, so I'd say that's a pretty big issue.
Yeah,
And something we need to solve before we can solve the world's problems. We need to be able to solve our own. I mean, there's a that kind of makes you sick a little bit to think about. You know, a lot of our money goes overseas and stuff that can easily take care of homeless people and individuals. A lot of veterans as well.
oh yeah.
That part of it really makes me upset.
Hmm.
But I just don't even if you don't take care of the vets, I don't even understand what we're doing. I don't get that. Those are the people that put their life on the line for us to live the life that we're living. They have, I mean, goodness, people have died. People come back missing limbs. People come back with mental things that they can't even describe. Things
Yep.
they've seen and took part in, or other people did to them, or things like that. And then the government's just like, oh well,
Yep.
what we should do is pay all these immigrants and refugees, I should say, refugees to come over here and live instead of giving that to our ex-military or even our military that deserves better pay or insurance now.
It's a brilliant
You
idea,
know,
Drew.
but maybe I'm
That's
just
yeah, I
crazy.
feel
I
you.
mean, those are the only thing that keeps our country safe is those people,
Yeah.
and they treat them like they're nobody.
Yep.
You know, to to me that they're everything, and that's what we really need as a president, in my opinion, is a long time lifelong military person that's a general of sorts or something like that thinks more like Trump does, but actually knows how to handle himself and
Right.
won't go to war willy nilly just because there's money involved or there's somebody pissed you off. You
Yeah.
know, just called you out practically.
Yeah.
Because to them, I'm sure war wouldn't just be willy nilly and it wouldn't be that easy. They lost friends. They know
Yeah.
people. They people they commanded. People they thought were their sons or daughters. That's who we need. That's what this country's missing. The person's been running this country for a long, long time has always been spineless, and they don't know anything.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that's of course my opinion. But let's talk about Hillary as well here. I mean, we focused a lot on Trump. Let's go ahead and Let's talk a little bit about Hillary then.
Well, let me just slide in one more thing about Trump.
All right.
Him mocking that journalist with the disability was absolutely freaking disgusting too.
That's
That
ludicrous.
made me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say about that. That was just absolutely deplorable in a basket.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, Hillary, man. Well, dude. Woo! Don't cuss, man. Don't cuss, Jay. Okay. So what I think about is the FBI director Comey. Is it Comey or Como? It's Como. Comey?
I thought it was Comey. Now you got me questioning it.
Um,
Either way.
Director. I'm trying to think of a name and I can just call him for shits and giggles. Director Dick.
All right. There you
All
go.
right. So Director Dick's up there getting grilled by Congress, and he's saying that she was negligent, and there were in fact emails that were marked copyright. Dude, even if they weren't marked in the place that they normally are supposed to be in, give me a freaking break. You're an adult. You're a politician. Come on, that's no freaking excuse. And he says basically that anyone other than her or a politician, someone of her stature, would have been charged for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And there are examples of people in the military who have accidentally sent one email that had stuff in it, and they were freaking wrung out, dude. Court-martialed and all that. And you line everything up with Bill meeting Lynch on the plane a week before she puts out her decision. That was obviously to talk about everything and work out a deal.
Well, no, they're having tea and crumpets.
I'm talking about grandchildren.
Yeah.
And then Director Dick, we obviously know he was in on it. I mean, that's obvious. And so, but what amazes me here is how it all went down. It's like, okay, so they all threw someone under the bus. All right, so Lynch throws Comey under the bus and says, refer to Comey, when they interviewed her and questioned her, I refer everything to Comey. I think his name is Comey. If it's, who cares? Director Dick. Again, I don't really care, dude. He's such a turd.
Director of the FBI.
Yeah. And then they question Hillary, and she throws Lynch under the bus and says, refer to Director Lynch's findings and what she decided.
Yeah.
And it's just a big game of circle jerk with one hand and pass the buck with the other, dude.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I couldn't. It's frankly it's hard to vote for either of these candidates. I mean, they're both terrible examples of what we think a president should be.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, my question is in the emails, right there, the bleached emails.
Mm-hmm.
My only problem with that is if it isn't this bad, you might as well show it. But if there is treason within those emails, that is the worst thing you can do in this country.
Yep.
And let me tell you, she's scared like there is. She doesn't want to talk about it like there is. I mean, there's people like Edward Snowden, for instance, he got the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Because of treason. Like that's what I think. What else are you hiding? What are you hiding? If it's about wedding stuff and things like that, like she says, then what was the point of deleting it?
Over 20-some thousand personal emails. Give me a break, dude.
A lot of emailing for wedding stuff, but I understand there's a lot of planning.
When are you working?
Yeah.
If you're emailing personal shit that much, when are you working?
That's a lot of emails.
Is that why she completely dropped the ball on our guys in Benghazi? And I'm sorry, in everything we're mentioning, if liberals were to listen to this show, they would sit there and make, well, she was exonerated on the emails and they didn't find anything on Benghazi. Well, actually, there's a lot of stuff they found on
that's
Benghazi,
like admitting
dude.
the government's not corrupt at all.
Yeah. Oh.
Like that's what you're saying.
Dude, they're awesome. They're like puppies and flowers, man. They're just beautiful. Nothing wrong with them.
I guess.
But yeah, the Benghazi deal too. I mean, dude, she blew that and she got our people killed, dude.
Oh yeah, she's probably sitting there watching it on a screen and everything.
They say she was asleep most of the time.
Well, she just wasn't that interested.
No.
Even though she was in charge of all foreign affairs,
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was a consolation prize from Obama because...
Oh, I love that. That's my favorite. I'm going to go through and I'm going to trash this lady. And she's going to trash me through the whole time in 08 presidential election. The whole time. Throwing each other under the bus. You want to be Secretary of State? All right. Yeah, we're buddies now.
And then it'll be your turn. And no one out there could, but I did that in quotes. It'll be your turn in 8 years.
And then I'll go up there and I'll be like, well, I feel like she's possibly the best candidate there is and ever was for president of the United States. Like, who says that after you go up there and you trash somebody that?
Yeah.
Like Trump, in all reality, he's been running his show all wrong. All he's got to do is play all Obama stuff from what he said about her, and that's it. He doesn't even have to film a thing. You just edit some stuff and throw it on TV. Yeah. Like, that's it. You're done.
But her supporters, they don't care, dude. They know. All right, dude. You've got, and when I say her supporters again, I mean people who honestly think she is the best person for the job and support her. Not people who hate them both but hate Trump more. Not them. I'm not counting. Like, not them.
Yeah.
Okay, so her supporters just... It's like fucking Jonestown, dude. Everyone, it's time to drink the Kool-Aid. It's just unreal, dude. I don't understand. And they know. It's not a matter of they don't know. They're not informed as to the facts. They don't know how freaking absolutely terrible she is. Yeah. They know, but they just don't care. And these are the people who want to run our country, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, really. And that's why I vote the way I do. And you know how I vote. And that's why. I mean, it only makes, if there's ever an argument for the way I do it, it's this year.
Yeah.
You know? And that's how it is. Because it is laughable. These people are a joke. This is a joke, right? Like, like they're kidding, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous.
And then it come out recently that Gary Johnson's a moron.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems like an awful nice guy, but, dude, he seems pretty freaking stupid. Just based on, like, 2 questions that he's been asked that even I know the answer to one of them.
That's what some real people in the government.
Real people.
You know, people that actually lived some life and been through some hard times and like, know what needs to happen. Not people, it's like, you know what? I will take your handout of money and support what you need me to support. And I really don't know what this country needs. I just want money.
You know who that person is?
Who?
Bernie Sanders.
Wow. I did not expect you to say that at all.
Yeah, good thing I'm completely full of it. There's no way in hell that I'm ready for anything
his
like
whole
it.
College thing got me. That was terrible.
And it's unrealistic.
Yeah. Like, well, you don't have to pay for college until somebody wants to go to college after you've been to college, and then you pay for their college.
Yeah.
Like, then you're paying for college anyway. But instead of being able to choose whether you want to go to college and pay for it or not, you're paying for it no matter what.
Yeah.
You know? Which is ridiculous. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's, well, you know, like being forced to be paid for, you know, paying for insurance, for instance, health insurance.
I mean, I could never imagine being forced to pay for something.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that, dude? I mean, for real. And even if you don't need it, like you are being forced to spend money on something that you don't want or
Yeah,
you don't need. Oh, wait. Yeah, you just said it. Health insurance,
exactly.
Obamacare. That's right.
No, you can't die on your own anymore.
No.
The government's got to be there with you.
Government dude, they think they got to do everything, man. Oh,
Well, and I understand that there
man.
are people that are, that need help and direction and stuff like that, and that's fine. Have a program for that. You know, let them opt into that. Let whoever's in charge of these people, whether it is the government or whoever their caretaker is or power of attorney or however you want to say it, make that decision. But don't force us to buy your crap.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously have a ploy behind it to where it's just a money making scheme.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, you know what? People just won't buy insurance, and then they're forced to pay a penalty, so we're making money either freaking way. How do
Yeah.
you like that?
Well, it's like Best Buy calling me up and saying, "We know you've got a nice TV, but you have to buy a TV from us, or else we're gonna penalize you and possible jail and all this
Yeah,
shit, dude." No, I
no.
don't need a new TV. I don't want a new TV. I don't need health insurance. I don't want, I
Not to
mean,
mention, it shouldn't be the federal government telling us to do it anyway. It should be state by state as it is.
yes,
But
yes,
of course, that's been the debate for hundreds of years, hasn't it?
yeah. We should talk about the Civil War sometime. Want to talk about getting riled up in a crazy, insane episode? I flip out over that. But well, man, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up for this episode, and I don't know. Trump blew it, and like I said, he didn't. For me, when I say he blew it, I don't want him as president. So I wasn't saying, I want him and he blew it. I'm saying he blew it as in he from the start with his antics and his supporters are a lot to blame too for
Mm-hmm.
jumping on his wagon, but he blew it for someone who could have actually really beaten Hillary.
Oh yeah, and for such a, I mean, the guy's a crazy smart genius. Like his IQ's crazy high, and
Trump's
and
for
to
real,
beat, yeah, for real.
because he really does seem like a dumb
Now I'm
dumb
talking
guy.
like a 161, 171, something
Really?
like that. It's way up there.
Hmm.
And he, for being that smart, he sure does have a dumb mouth.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
that's what really did him in is his dumb mouth.
all them sniffing, dude. We were talking about before we started recording, dude. It it sure it sure sounded like coke sniffle to me. Don't
Yeah.
sue me, Trump. I'm not saying that you are doing anything. I'm just saying,
Hey, it's cold season.
yeah,
Weather's
I
changing.
guess.
He's from New York, right? So I could see
Yeah.
that.
Well, everybody, it was a good time.